hair all over my chest. Hey, buddy. It's time for update, folks. It's been a minute. So I hope some of you guys hop on in on the stream. It's been a minute since I did a live stream, so it's time. It's overdue. There's somebody out there. I wanted to do this live stream about what I did in 2021 that I do not plan on doing in 2022 because it's middle October at that. So you know that means it's time to get everything ready, books and all that in terms of your accounting. But it's also time to figure out what you're going to focus on for first quarter of 2022. Okay. Hey, Erica. I just got back in from Memphis. I went to go visit my mom for a couple of days, so it's been quiet on my end because I had to go visit my mommy. I miss my mommy. And on the way back, I was listening to a lot of podcasts. As some of you guys know, I'm into agriculture, so that amped me up. And I saw some land, and my aunt and she was telling me about some stuff she found on Ancestry. So I'm all amped up from everything that I learned this weekend, and I realized it's time to get down to the nitty gritty on what am I going to be focusing on in 2022. But I did want to share what it was in 2021. First of all, 2021 was phenomenal. Okay. First of all, let's just start there. Okay. 2021 was phenomenal. There are some things that I just wouldn't do again in 2022. And one of those things is ink fingerprinting. I could kick myself in the ass for this because Dan Jerkowitz with Print Scan said, Monica, you need to get your live scan, Live scan is really where it's at. Yes, ink fingerprinting is something that you can do, but live scan is where it's at. I didn't want to up the money. It was like 10 grand, or you could do it at different levels, but I just really wasn't. I wanted to, but I didn't want to. I wasn't sure what that market really looked like. And then to myself, well, if there's $3,000 or $5,000 a month available in ink fingerprinting revenue, let me just get that and then let that pay for the live scan machine. Well, that was the wrong move. I should have gone forward with the live scan, and instead what I did is I ended up spending $700, $400 for the postage on 1,000 postcards, and $300 for the list, FINRA brokers. So I said, I'm going to put that out there to the FINRA brokers. Actually, they were people who were in the financial services industry got my postcard, and my postcard said, I'll come to you and do your ink fingerprinting or do your fingerprints mobily. And so their call to action was to call me, and I would come and do that. And these people have to get fingerprinted every year because they work in the financial services industry. That money did not bring any dollars back. Okay. So I will not be doing ink fingerprinting again. Everything started off, let me start off actually going back to the end of 2020. Back in November of 2020, I launched the general notary. I was trying to do the general notary work signing service, and we were going to be focusing on the Notary Near Me search feature from Google My Business. And so let's back up. Before the ink fingerprinting, it was all about Google My Business and spending money on Google My Business and trying to build a business around Google My Business. And what I found with that was suspect, because you have no control over when and if Google is going to decide to take your page down. And not only that, you might have a hater or two in your neck of the woods. And if somebody goes to your Google page and hates on you for no reason, and that causes Google to pause your stuff, then now if you built your business around calls coming in from Google My Business, now you don't have that page up. So now that revenue is not going to be coming in, those just random, general notary work requests. But I did see the other day, there was somebody I was watching a YouTube, and the in-stream ad that came up before my video was talking about Google, some kind of way doing Google ads, but only when people call you. And he had a notary that actually had purchased his service, and he let us hear one of the calls. What happened was the gentleman searched for a notary, and when her result came up, he could call her. She was out walking her dogs, and she set up a notarization for a transfer of deed. And I know she was probably gonna get like 75 or 80 bucks for it. But my point is, that's still a viable way. But my thing with Google is it's still Google. If Google, the people, and they're hard to reach, and customer service sometimes it's kind of So I'm not going to build a business around Google My Business, nor am I going to throw a lot of money pointing people to my Google My Business. Okay. So that's the first thing. Google Ads, I am more familiar with now, thanks to a couple of tutorials that I've been watching on YouTube ads, because YouTube and Google are basically the same thing. I think, I'm pretty sure they are. Are they? Hey, Shanice, somebody let me know if Google and YouTube are the same for the most part. The other thing that I tried, the third thing that I tried was the attorney. So that one was really hopeful. I did, and this one I didn't have to spend any money. And here's something I want to tell you guys. You notice that I said I spent money, Google My Business. I can't remember, I may have spent $500. I don't know how much I spent. But then on the ink fingerprinting, I spent about $7. Okay, so 7 and 5, so that's 1,100 that I've spent and nothing came back from it. Okay. So I immediately said, no, I'm not going to do ink fingerprinting again. And no, I'm not going to do Google My Business again. And matter of fact, the next thing I do, it needs to be almost free. Because I'm 3 strikes and you're out. And you can fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You ain't gonna fool me 3 times. Okay? This is an entrepreneur talking to you, right? So even though we sometimes have to go after different revenue streams and we're taking risk in the process of us doing that, we still have to be cognizant of the overall loss, right? Yeah, you give this one its loss, you give this one its loss, but hey, by this time I spent money at Google My Business. Now I threw this money out the door on ink fingerprinting and then none come back. So now my third pivot, right? This is what this is called. This is okay. This is what you're supposed to do as an entrepreneur. Don't feel some type of way about it, right? You're finding revenue streams that work. When they don't, if they do work, say something of this worked. Then you double down, you expand, you replace yourself, and you get it automated so it's truly a business and it's running without you. That's the ultimate goal. And that might take you 36 months to do, right? But that's if something works, that's if any of this had worked. Since it didn't work, I'm not going to keep trying, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to pivot to something else that's more profitable. So, but in keeping in mind of the whole gamut of how much has been spent, I went into my third pivot, which was the attorney saying this: I'm not going to spend no money. Not really, okay? So instead, what did I do? I went ahead and I got my database together. I used my energy and my time to get my database together. Actually, no, I tell that lie, because I did spend on some help getting the database put together. I had somebody go in and do a database for me of attorneys that were solo attorneys. And there's about 600 and some other attorneys on that list. So I did pay for that. Okay. So I didn't spend no money, but that's the only money that I spent. And that might've been 100, 150 bucks. Next, I sent emails to each of those attorneys. That was also a risk, right? Because attorneys know the law and they know the rules and regulations when it comes to spamming better than me. And of course I didn't know. But out of 600 and some odd emails that I sent out, which was a risk, I got 3 responses. One response was, hey, you need to make sure there's an unsubscribe on your emails. It was real sweet. 2, just take me off your list. And 3 was, send me over your information. And on the send me over your information, that resulted 2 weeks later in a signed contract. Okay. Now, here's the thing about the signed contract, and this is why I'm not going to actively pursue a whole lot more of that, is because that signed contract was great. However, I was fully expecting to be deploying notaries on all these general notary work assignments, right? All these affidavits, all these deeds. I was expecting there to be, my little order form that I created. I just knew it was getting ready to just ding, ding, and everybody's going to be crazy about notary nerds and it was going to be wonderful. And that did not happen. Okay. So I am of the mind that what they wanted is security. They saw my advertisement, they saw the information and the services that I offer, and it met one of their pain points. However, it's either not time, they just want me there just to be, in place just in case, because we don't know what's going on with the pandemic or whatever. Either way it goes, it didn't generate any revenue. And that's what you need to look at. You need to do the same exercise. You need to look back at the things that you did in 2021 that did not generate any revenue. And if they didn't generate any revenue, it's not time for you to go down that rabbit hole and spend years, weeks, and months trying to figure out what that was. You need to figure out where the better stream of revenue is, because you don't need to waste any mental energy, any more time. You already had that opportunity to make that thing work. Okay. If you did put some effort behind it, you put some money behind it, and it just didn't work, then now it's time to move on. Okay, it's time to move on to something that has more fruit to it, right? And so for me, what that looks like is I won't be, y'all ain't got to worry about me competing with y'all on ink fingerprinting. Y'all ain't got to worry about me competing with y'all on Google My Business. All power to everybody that comes up underneath the map pack. And those of us who have studied Google My Business know what the map pack is, okay? And then on the attorney front, I'm going to let that lay. I'm going to keep the contract that I have, service them well, keep my network of keep my network of notaries and the Notary Nerd Network handy. But again, you can take a horse to the water, but you can't make them drink, folks, okay? You cannot make them drink. At home mom boss, do you think that Google ads work? You know, I have to say yes, because let me tell you about my Google ads experience. I set up Google ads to spend $20 a day or 20 something dollars a day. And it wasn't, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't know how to set up the ad. I didn't know. Now that I watch these YouTube tutorials, I understand a little bit more about it, but I didn't know what I was doing. But what was happening, and I didn't know it, was Google was showing me up to you guys. And I think Google has a big role in and why the Notary Nerds Facebook group blew up like it did. Because for a while, I was like, where are all these people coming from? And true enough, Facebook is its own software platform and Google is its own software platform. But what was happening was I was building my YouTube channel in the middle. And I think because I was running a Google ad, that my YouTube channels were coming up. And also I was sharing that YouTube. That's what it was. This is how my Google ads ended up working out for me. Y'all check this out. What I was doing was I was going on to YouTube and I would upload a video on YouTube. Then I would take that YouTube video and share it to my Facebook business page. From my Facebook business page, I would boost that post. So I'm spending $20 over here on Google for the Google ad, which is really pointing to my what? YouTube channel. And I'm also taking that same video from that same YouTube channel and I'm promoting it by boosting it as a post from my business Facebook page. And who am I targeting? I'm targeting notaries. So I can't say that Google ads didn't work. And as a matter of fact, I'm about to start running a YouTube ad. And again, I believe Google and YouTube I think they're all the same. You know, I'm pretty sure that the same people own them. I don't know. Hey, Cynthia. But that's where I think that Google ads came in as far as a help to me, at home mom boss. I love that name, by the way. So I can't say that they didn't work, but I did not know what the hell I was doing. Okay. Like I was, you know what I'm saying? I'm just clicking shit. I don't know what I'm clicking and $20 is all I wanted to spend. Right. So now I've got to get that squared away so I can get that running back again, but I'm going to be doing it from a YouTube point of view because YouTube is where people go to learn. If their question is how to do something, they go to YouTube to figure that out. How to become a notary, how to do this, how to do that. You go to YouTube. We all do, right? So my thing is I'm going to be focusing on developing ads now that are on YouTube. So we just got to, whatever you did last year that didn't work, you need to fix and change that, right? Like that's the big thing now. It's just knowing when to let go and move into another direction. Because guys, time, if you haven't noticed, is not waiting on any of us. This is the thing that I'm noticing. It seems like the older I get, the faster it goes by. So we're in the middle of October of 2021. We're about to be in 2022 in a minute. Like 2020, I don't even remember it, right? It's like it just was a, you know? So now we're in October, and it's important that we take a look back over the last 10 months and see, okay, what worked? And for those of you guys, some of you guys I know in the group, in the Notary Nerds Facebook group, which if you're watching this and you're not in the Notary Nerds Facebook group, shame on you. You need to hop over and join the Notary Nerds Facebook group and make sure you answer all the questions. I don't care if you're a notary or not. If you don't answer all the questions, the moderators will not let you in. So if you refer somebody to the Notary Nerds Facebook group, make sure you give them that spiel, okay? So what was I talking about? I can't even remember. Okay, Google does own YouTube. Oh, okay. Yeah. See, Google owns YouTube. So when you're doing YouTube ads, you're doing Google ads, they're both all in one and the same. I can't remember what I was talking about. Bottom line, go back and look at what you have done last year that was working. That's what I was going. That's where I was going. Some of you guys are doing a really great job. You know, Some of you guys have found your money, and let me just breathe on y'all for a second with that, okay? Because you guys don't need to pivot, okay? If you are watching this video and you see everybody else kind of pivoting around you and you're tempted to, you want to start, you know what I'm saying, doing it with them, you need to stop. Okay. You need to stop, and you need to just look at what you have going on. And if your numbers are where they need to be, if your revenue is coming in and maybe you just need to make some tweaks, because to be honest with you, here's my situation. If you're doing loan signing successfully, your next step should be to take and include a real mobile signing vehicle into your business model. Okay. A real mobile signing vehicle. The best, to me, in my opinion, the best business model, if you don't do that, is to just do direct. And I know that everybody already knows that. This is no new information, right? But from a sustainability, from looking at all of the data, listening to all of the notaries from all across the country over the last year, as we've been building Notary Nerds Facebook group up to 12,000 people, the chatter that's in there, the Notary Nerds University, right? All the instructors, all this information that I've been gleaning off of for the last 12 months has shown me that the loan signing business is excellent if you are, and sustainable if you are in the place of a direct relationship where you're going into the title company and you're doing 5 or 4 or 6 loan signings and you're getting paid fairly quickly and you're not having to drive for each one of those individual signings. If you're doing this and you're driving 45 minutes and you're printing 200 pages and you're doing that 7 and 8 times a day, to me, that does not even sound sustainable, right? So in my personal opinion, the best model for a notary signing agent or a loan signing agent is direct. And I don't really think anybody disagrees with that. I just think that people feel as if it's difficult to go direct because you got to get the experience and then you got to gain the trust of the, and it's kind of one of those things. It's a process. So everybody does what they do with the signing services until they get there. For those of you guys who have a good loan signing, notary signing agent business, you're out there, you're doing 5 figures a month, you're doing it big. Your next move, in my opinion, if I was you, is I would keep doing what I'm doing, but now it's time to duplicate myself. So that's where I'm going to look at the NV200, I think is what the name of that Nissan Sprinter van is. Or if you want to go big, get the Mercedes one. It's going to be a workhorse either way. Get that, wrap that joker up, hire you a notary. That's your mobile, that's your other, you might hire a long distance notary. You keep your title work going, but now you have the ability, if you've been working on your business credit, if you got your house in order, if you've got your duns, and let me just tell y'all this right now. Tabitha Thomas is going to be coming on to Notary Nerds University on October the 26th. Tabitha is the owner of, I think it's Signature. I can't remember her business name, but anyway, she's in the Notary Nerds Facebook group. And one Saturday we were talking during book club, and she mentioned to us how she was able to go get business credit even in spite of overcoming some financial challenges that she'll share with you guys in the class. As a matter of fact, we did an interview the other day that I need to upload, so be looking for that video here as soon as I get done with this live stream. But because she was able to get her business credit, even though she had some personal financial stuff going on with her personal credit, she was still able to get a mobile loan signing vehicle. And she's going to come to Notary Nerds University and talk to us about that. So if you guys aren't members at Notary Nerds University, you need to be members at Notary Nerds University. It's as affordable as it could possibly be. It should be a part of every notary's business. I'm sorry, it just is what it is. It's $37 a month. And it's going to be well worth it for you to get the information that's going to be in there to help you not waste money and save you a whole bunch of time going into the new year. Plus, we got some other stuff coming up. But my point is, if I was a mobile loan signing agent and I was doing 5 figures a month, my next move would be getting a van, wrapping it with my branding, and making sure my branding was on point. If I needed to rebrand before this, fine. Because at this point, all I got out is business cards and maybe a website. I can change that, right? But if your brand is not on point right now, you need to get with somebody like Notary Brittany, okay? You need to get with Brittany Bowman. She's one of the moderators of the Notary Nerds Facebook group. She went to school for that, right? She taught a class on branding for another university, that's fair. But if you know that you can't do it, you need to hand it off to somebody else. You've got the money. Now it's time to hire a professional so that you can get the branding right before you make this next move. But if I was y'all, I would get a van. And I would have wrapped that van. And if it was my son, my husband, my sister, my cousin, somebody would be with a notary commission. I would train them exactly how I wanted them to do because I got my SOPs together. Hopefully you got the SOPs together. And that's how that van would look. And it would go make money for it while I'm doing the title stuff, right? That's what I would do. And if I was currently traveling a lot for signings, and that's all my business model consisted of is these 30, 45-minute one-way back and forth drives. I would really sit down and get with Excel, get with a bookkeeper, get with whoever, go to the SBA, Small Business Development Center, pull back the book and start getting real yourself. If you really anything, okay? You can see how many outstanding receivables you have. How long are you waiting on your money? Take a look and see if you were in the hamster wheel and just don't know it. Okay, because you can feel like you're making money and you're like, okay, wait a minute, where is it? Right? Been there, done that. So for you guys that have a business model that are the notary signing agent, loan signing agent, and you're primarily working for the signing services because you haven't yet found those direct clients, you guys are in my thoughts and prayers the most. Because it's about to get cold and there's about to be ice on the ground, and not everybody has to deal with those types of conditions. But you guys are going to be faced with that. You guys are going to be faced with going into people's homes and whatnot here as the winter months come on and things like that. So you guys really need to be real keen on what is really working for you. And I mean, be able to do what I was telling the other loan signing agents to do that are doing direct business right now, which is look at getting a mobile van. If anything is working, if any loan signing agent is hearing my voice right now, your next move needs to be leveraging your business credit so that you can get you a mobile notary van, period, wrapped with your brand on it. Okay. So that's my 2 cents. Okay. Cynthia said, yes, Monica, everyone needs to find the model that best fits them. So true. So very true. Everybody's got a model that needs to match up with their goals. And my goals are totally different from a lot of people's goals. My goals are, I want to have a signing service, right? I want to go after the big guys. I want to go after AAG. I want to go after, Bank of America. I want to have a contract with them that I get, that my notaries go out and do these signings, right? And the reality of that is that takes a lot of time to build, right? And what I'm starting to really consider, and I hadn't said this to anybody, but I guess I'm about to say it now, is when you think about becoming a signing service, all you are is, here's the lender at the top, there's the title company, or the lender and the title company. Let's just say that, okay? Lender, title company. And in the middle of the title company, you've got the signing service. And the lenders and the title companies depend on the signing services to do what? Vet the notaries. The notaries are down here. You have the notaries down at the bottom. There's a signing service up here, and the signing service is feeding to the title company. Really didn't have anything to do with the lender, but the lender needed somebody they could kind of look and depend on some of these signing services to get them somebody that's been vetted already, right? So when you think about creating when I thought about creating a signing service and where do I fit in industry-wise, and this was a revelation that just happened, right? A signing service is right here in the middle. Notaries on the bottom. The signing services are in the middle, and you got the lender and the title on top. And I said to myself, why am I trying to create this in the middle? Why can't I get in with these guys up here? Well, obviously I don't want to be a lender, but there's been many a broker that started a title company. Why am I right here when I could be right here? So I'm investigating this, okay, because there's a lot of risk involved and a lot of things, a lot of moving parts involved. But I happen to know someone who has been doing it for like 20 years, and they are interested in kind of teaching more about this. So, we'll see what happens. But, these are the things that you need to be thinking about October 2021 going into 2022. You need to sit back and look at what worked. And for me, what worked was, obviously bringing content to Notary Nerds. That definitely worked. maintaining a healthy and a positive environment in the Notary Nerds Facebook group, surrounding myself with like-minded people who wanted to build a business, who wanted to learn, right? Because honestly, without that environment, without the Notary Nerds environment, I wouldn't have been accountable in several different areas. I wouldn't have read the 4 or 5 or 6 books that we've read this year. I wouldn't be more in tune with my finances, doing my books and my bookkeeping. I wouldn't have the breadth of knowledge that I do when it comes to what doesn't work, which is just as valuable as knowing what does work, right? So when it comes to that, the community that has been created, that is Notary Nerds, is invaluable to someone trying to build a business in this space, because the like-mindedness from the conversation, the accountability, without Notary Nerds, I personally wouldn't have had a reason to go out further and learn more about the industry. Go grab more, right? And what's crazy is, after doing all of this swimming, all of this dog paddling all year, I'm coming straight back to real estate. And to me, it just could. Some of you guys have already heard me say this. You guys were on the live on the Wednesday night meet and greet the other day, which the meet and greets for the last couple of weeks won't be posted. There's too much intellectual property in those for me to post those, so those will not be posted. But those of you who were on it know what we were talking about. But it's coming back full circle. I didn't think there was a connection between the real estate industry and the notary. When I say real estate industry, I'm talking about the realtor, the real estate professional. I did not see the value that a notary could bring to a broker. I'm just gonna be honest. I didn't. It didn't hit me until it happened to me, and I saw the value right smack dab in my face, right? And as a broker, it's all about listings. As a real estate professional, it should always be about listings. I started off working with a lot of buyers. Don't get me wrong. That's what you do, right? That was what my passion was. I didn't even know how to list property when I got my real estate license, because I was so focused on affordable home ownership and first-time home buyers and that demographic that I could care less. My heart got into real estate because I wanted people to avoid bad mortgages. Why did I want people to avoid bad mortgages? Because I had spent 3 years prior writing them damn things. And so becoming an advocate on the front end, because everybody that I talked to when I was selling bad mortgages got advice from their real estate professional on this and this and this. And so it was my logic that, okay, well, if I become a real estate agent, this is circa 2006, okay, I will be able to prevent people from making these bad decisions, right? So I became a real estate agent, and I loved every minute of helping people get 100% financing, conventional, no mortgage insurance, hardly bringing any money to closing. Those clients right now are cash rich. I got clients right now, they'll call me from time to time and ask me about, they'll be considering selling, but they can't really figure out where to go because Nashville and the surrounding area is just super popping right now. But so I'll check and I'll say, oh my gosh, are you ready for this? So don't get me wrong, working with buyers is amazing. It's so fulfilling, and I am with you. But if you are a real estate professional and you ain't listing property, I do not know what you've been doing, okay? You got to list property, and this whole connection that I did not see between the notary and the real estate broker came front and center. The notary can help not only the real estate agent get the listings, but manage the process. Yes, there's transaction coordinators out there already like that right now. Yes, there are virtual assistants like that right now, right? This is a brand opportunity, okay? You are a notary public, and we're going to conclude with that. And I think this is a very important thing that we need to understand, is that no, it didn't take a lot of money for you to become a notary, but who you are in the eyes of your community and in the eyes of the law is a public official. And I don't think, give enough consideration and weight to that fact. Like, we are the fraud police. Like, we are responsible for making sure millions and hundreds of thousands of assets are transferred like they're supposed to be transferred. We're there to make sure whoever is there is who they say they are, and that nobody is under any kind of duress, and everybody's, of sound mind. Like we are the fraud police for the very end of very high net worth transactions. Okay, some of them are just school permission slips, yes, but some of this stuff that we're notarizing, folks, these are people's first and second homes and hundreds of thousands of dollars, the wills and estates and all these different things. So make sure you give yourself and your role enough credit, even though you maybe don't feel it because you can only charge so much and this, that, and the other. Understand that when you put that word notary in front of something, right, that it holds weight, and being able to niche market yourself to real estate agents who aren't necessarily going to be trustful of everybody dealing with their files. Okay. But if I'm dealing with somebody who's been background checked, got errors and omissions insurance, possibly even bonded, and is just a phone call away if they tick me off from doing something they ain't have to do, they weren't supposed to do, I can call the Secretary of State and get it right. Okay. That makes me feel a little bit more like trusting. Okay. All of those things. You've got to remember that you have a lot of value. And shout out to Tammy. Shout out to Duly Noted in Atlanta, Douglasville. She was the one that made me understand it. She was like, you know what, Monty? We don't get it. The reason there's so many opportunities in the notary industry is because of that trustworthiness. That trustworthiness is, you got notary permit runner, you got notary loan signing agents, you got the people that the notary presenter when you present. I didn't even know that was a thing, right? People trust you to be able to do certain things a lot faster. There's notaries out there that are transporting body parts and stuff and DNA and stuff like that. Why? Because they're trustworthy. That's why you can take the notary designation, come to the real estate industry and make a lot of headway, because you got a lot of A types in the real estate industry. They need the help, but they're not trying to hire an employee. That is not our ministry. Okay. We do not want employees. We want independent contractors who do what they say that they're going to do. Right. And so that offers the notary a really nice opportunity to come in. And this market is, the real estate market is where all the signings and stuff are coming from anyway, for the most part. Okay. You've got the sales side, but then you do have HELOCs and you got some refis. The HELOCs and the refis are happening all the time. They go up and down, but they're happening more often than your actual sales, right? Your seller packets and your buyer packets, right? But my point is this, it's all in the same industry. Okay. So if you could come and be of service to that real estate broker or that real estate team or that real estate brokerage, think big, sis and bruh. Okay. Think big. You being able to help with the listings and then being an independent support system after the listing from contract to close. I'm telling you, that's enough. That's a stream I know is there. And I didn't even think about it before because, again, and I didn't mention this before, but those of you who have heard me talk about it already know where I'm going with this. When I saw the real estate, when I saw people marketing their training program saying go market to real estate agents, I was like, no. Loan signing agents should not be marketing to real estate agents to get their loan signings. To get their transaction signed. Are you going to get some? I'm sure you will. But what I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to keep it real with you. A real estate agent isn't worried about that. They're not worried about that. They're not worried about which notary closes the transaction. If they get in a crunch, maybe, but for the most part, they ain't worried about it. Why are they not worried about it? Because they know title's going to take care of it. The real estate agent gives a contract to the title company, and the title company calls them if there's problems. That's it. We're not worried about who the notary signing agent is going to be on the thing. So when I heard that marketing, I was like, yeah. And I heard some people got some business that way. And like I say, anything can work. You can sell anything to anybody, right? I'm not saying it won't work, but I'm saying it's probably not the best use of your time. If you're spending a lot of time doing it, and you're probably seeing for yourself it's probably not as fruitful as you thought it would be, that's why. Because it's not in our DNA to be concerned about that. What it is in our DNA to do is to make money. And the way we make money is by selling houses, okay? So in order to sell houses, like I say, those of us who are in it, I'm 10 plus years in the game, you're a full-time real estate agent, you know, you got to list property to last. You got to list to last. So if you come to me as a notary real estate assistant and you tell me, Monica, I can help your team identify 2 to 3 new listing opportunities every single month with this package that I put together for you. Do you have a moment to listen? Absolutely. Let's go get some coffee at Starbucks on me. Okay. So that's where that's at. Okay. And then when I get busy and my team is busy and we need somebody to move that paperwork from contract to close, then guess what? I'm going to be all ears if you've got some kind of certification or training or something that lets me know that you know what you're doing. I'm no longer worried about trusting you because you led in with the fact that you were a notary real estate assistant. And you told me, Monica, I have this much in errors and omissions insurance. I am bonded. I am background checked by the NNA. Okay. And the Secretary of State has a hotline. You can call, and if I do something I'm not supposed to do. So I'm not that person that's going to do something to your business, to harm your business on purpose, right? That's something that I'm not going to do. And what I've also done is I've gotten training to make sure I don't do it on accident either, right? I've gotten training from a broker, right? So if you like, I'd love to talk with you more about how I can add more revenue to your bottom line by identifying these 2 to 3 listings per month, ... Y'all see that sales pitch? See how she did that? Okay. Because that's what it's about. That's all we care about. So now that I get it, some people are slow. I'm one of them. Sometimes I went all the way around from September 2020 to October 2021. I started with Google My Business, went to ink fingerprinting, came down and was getting ready to step out in the notary permit running, but that was way too much work. When I heard and I realized after Miss Cynthia taught the class and I realized I was gonna have to bird dog this stuff all the way through, I was like, no. So I didn't even go after that. But after ink fingerprinting, I went to the attorney, okay, only to come back to home. It just, anyway. So remember your value. Remember how valuable you are as a notary. Remember what that stands for. If people don't really know, it's going to be your job to educate them. And in the way that I kind of just did, when you run down those bullet points, I've got the E&O, I've got the bond. And if you don't have the bond, because all states don't require that, I get that. But whatever you do have, let that be known. Starting with the background check. Let them know about the Secretary of State. That they're a source of accountability for us as notaries. If we're out doing things that we shouldn't be doing, the consuming public can contact the Secretary of State and hold us accountable very easily, right? All of these things are your new pitch, are a part of who you tell people you are, to get them to really understand that they can trust you. And again, that's why there's so many opportunities for notaries. That's why there's all these different that's why people hire notaries that they don't even need a notarization. That's why there's a reverse mortgage. That's why notaries do reverse mortgage applications. There's no notarization needed. You can go on Thumbtack and get anybody in the world to come and do a reverse mortgage application, right? But why do they choose notaries to do it? There's no notarization. It's that trust factor. Okay. So don't sleep on that, right? But my whole point is all of these things led back to home, right? Which is real estate for me. And the realization that, I've got a small little boutique brokerage. I've got 2 agents up under me. And my marketing has just been word of mouth up until now. This is going to be my 7th year in business. As a matter of fact, on October the 24th, I will be officially a 7-year owner of a broker owner of a real estate brokerage. So I'm extremely proud of that. I have worked my ass off. Okay. It has not been easy. And I just could kick myself in the ass for not seeing the connection between the real estate agent and the notary. Like I said, the marketing I was hearing was all about, ask them about to do your loan time. I'm trying to get listings. I'm not worried about it. When I do get a contract, I'm not worried about who's going to close it because I know it's going to close. That my job is to find the lead, take care of the client, get the negotiations done, and get to the closing. Now, if you're telling me as a notary real estate assistant that you're going to come in and you're going to help me do this front part, I'm all ears. But don't talk to me about this back part because we ain't got there yet. We're putting the cart before the horse. You want a signing, Let's start up here. Let's start getting some business in. What is this package you're talking about where you can get me 2 to 3 listings a month or opportunities a month? Because real estate agents, don't get it twisted. We're not easily sold. You don't have to worry about the mistake that we think that you're going to guarantee us 2 or 3 listings. We know it doesn't work that way. Okay, just keep it real with us. Listing opportunities is absolutely enough to make me listen to whatever else you get ready to say after that. Okay, so if that's the thing, and it's out here, it's just a matter of putting 2 and 2 together, getting you trained up, getting you familiar with the verbiage. I'm not going to rush this. It's going to be at least a 12-week process for those of you guys who are not licensed real estate agents. That training that I'm putting together is not going to be rushed. I cannot put my name on any real estate training just because everybody's in a rush to get out there and do it. Absolutely not. It's fourth quarter. Real estate is slowing down anyway. You'll be ready for the spring 2022 season. Okay. And you'll be able to do a little something over the winter, but trust me, you want to be ready, especially if you're not licensed. Now, if you are a licensed real estate professional, I'm not going to put you through 12 weeks. Okay. Depending on where your experience comes from, you still may need something, but you're not going to need 12 weeks. Okay. So there's going to be 2 tracks, and this is all going to be at Notary Nerd University, right? So now that I'm back from visiting my mom, I'm about to get everything kind of caught up. I've got a couple of videos to upload to the channel, but I wanted to pop in and do this live stream just to let you guys know the things that I would not be doing again. And just to recap that for those of you guys who are just joining us, that's the Google My Business. I'm not building a business model around Google My Business because they can shut your page down and haters can come and complain about your page and make changes on your own app. Ink fingerprinting, spent money on that. Not doing that. I should have did live scans. Sorry about that. The attorney thing, I went after that, did an email marketing campaign that resulted in a contract. No work. Just kind of, okay. So I'm not going to be throwing any new money after that. What I am about to do is marry, since I came back full circle to now understand that how the notary and the real estate professional could benefit one another. What I am about to do is I'm about to marry the two. I'm about to take my notary contacts, right, and let that boost up my brokerage. Why? How? Listings. My notary real estate assistants will be able to help my firm get listings. They'll be able to help my firm and any other firm in the country they want to help, right? And this is going to be beautiful because while it would be great that you're in the same geographical region, let's say you became a notary real estate assistant and you had some people in Colorado and you're in Kentucky, right? And you want to actually help do this, help them get listings. Could it be done? Absolutely. Is it going to be a little different than if they were in your local environment? Of course, but it still can be done. So I'm going to teach you all about those ways that you could do that. But that's it. Let me check the chat out. It's been running my mouth. T said, I agree. As a real estate agent in New Jersey, I never saw notaries come to us until we turn our clients to the title company. Exactly. So y'all, I'm not telling y'all just to be mean. I think it wasn't, and I don't think, honestly, it wasn't nothing bad as far as the marketing was concerned. It was just that I'm in it. And when I heard that, I think it was in the loan signing system that I heard it first. And I've heard it in Sign and Thrive, I think, too. I was just like, no, this is not, because I took all the loan signing agent training. I took Notary to Pro, took Sign and Thrive, took loan signing system. And when I was hearing about the come to the real estate agent to build your business, I already knew they were sending y'all down a rabbit hole because it wasn't, the end of it, it wasn't, So, but that's it, guys. That's all I had. And so yeah, I think that's it. Y'all got anything for me? I've been talking for 44 minutes. Whew, that's a lot. All right, you guys. Well, I'm about to get out of here and get caught up. Thank you guys for joining the live stream. I appreciate you guys being here, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.